Hey ladies and gents, we're back with some Avorion and we are talking simple factory chains. This one's about as simple as you're going to get. This is going to be moving material from one station to another station in a sector. There's two ways to do this. Of course, there's one we're going to use transporter software, and the other one we're going to use shuttles, the old way. There is a third way, of course, which is using a auto trader to move from outside of the sector, but this is going to be in sector, moving materials from one station to the other. Now, if you don't have a lot of ships and you're trying to build stuff, and it's really a pain in the ass when you have pirates, Zotan, persecutors, and all the baddies jumping in there, there is a way around of doing that. It is called a energy signature suppressor. You can find these at all equipment docks. They cost 100,000 credits, and it's simply deploying. It's a satellite. It suppresses the local area so that people the baddies don't know you're here, and it's right here. So this is, for example, it's energy suppressor satellite. You just simply click on it and you hit the use button and it'll deploy a satellite suppressing the area, and you can work in here peacefully without having anybody bothering you for up to 10 hours. Real nice if you don't have a big fleet or a defense platform or something that will keep the baddies away. So what are we looking at here? This is our medical supply factory, and we have a water factory here. In this area, water was really high, like 28%, plus 28%. So I built a water supply factory to feed this station water. Now, for this station to run, it needs chemicals, fabric, zinc, chlorine. You notice everything else is below average price here, so I'm maximizing my profit here. The water was the high one, plus 23%, or it was at the time 30%, so I put the water station here. So instead of paying for the water, and this would make a great video, I decided to build a water station here close enough to feed water to this thing so I don't have to buy it. Now the difference is, in this situation, we have to be relatively close. These two stations have to be relatively close. They don't normally look like asteroids. This is how my preferred station designs. You can just use the regular station designs. You want to get the ships about 4.5 kilometers, or between 4.5 and 5 kilometers distance between the two of them. What you're going to use to make this work is the transporter software here. You'll see that there's a transporter software. You'll find them, different. There's greens, blues, and they all have a different docking distance. You can stack these. This one's a 3 kilometer and this is a 2.7. So combined, they're 5.7 kilometers. My station is 4.64. So I'm within that range that this has the ability to transport material from that side to this side. You also need a transporter block. So really the only way to do this is you have to be able to at least get to the Xanian level to get a Xanian transporter block. And the block doesn't even have to be that big. It can be literally that size. That's all you need to make this work. You also need a captain on your ship to do this, and you also need a improved trading system. You need some sort of trading system for this to work, so this station knows that station over there has water. Pretty simple. The other side doesn't need anything. I put a captain on that, and I also turned on, for example, this one for the trade goods. I'm telling it to fetch goods from station, and I tell the other one to deliver goods to the station. I don't know if this is necessarily needed, because you don't do anything from here. You do it on the map to make this work. And I screwed around with this for a little bit of time to make this finally work, and I kept breaking, not making it work, figuring out how it worked, until I realized it was making one specifically massive mistake that I kept doing over and over again. Now, since I'm also selling water on that other station, we're going to jump over here. Excuse me, that other station. I want to have enough water on here. So I have 25,000 water. I want to make sure there's always enough, that this thing's producing enough water. To do that, this is where that whole production line comes in. Since I'm producing enough water for the station at the med center, and I'm also producing enough water to sell, I don't need to upgrade anymore for parallel productions. Now, if you get a station that's really, really, like the traders are really coming in hard for materials, you might want to upgrade that production line just to get some more, just to make sure it's producing more water. That's just like any station in the game. You want to make sure that that it's producing enough to handle the demand. Right now, I don't have to. I only have the two production lines. I can go up to 3 if I want to continue to upgrade it, but I don't need to. So it's something to remember when you're doing the whole production thing. So these two are close enough. You can also, if you don't have the transporter software enough to make this work, that you don't have the distance, you can simply build these booms that come out on any side of the ship. There's usually 4 docking ports. There's usually on this side, this side, this side, and this side. Excuse me. So as long as those, excuse me, one of those days, should have something to drink. But as long as they're pointed relatively in the right direction of the opposing, and you can extend the docking port out, say a kilometer or 2, you can shorten that distance up, that you don't need a lot of transporter software. You don't have to stack it. You might be able to get away with just one of them, like a high-end one that's 3 kilometers. If you can extend the docking port out far enough, you might not need to use multiple transporter software. It's just something to remember when you're doing it. That other one has one as well. I think I extended this one out as well. Yeah, just a little bit. But as long as you get under that 3 kilometers, you don't need more than one transporter software. So with that said, we got it all set up relatively close. 4.64 plus the rods plus the stack transporters. This is going to work to transport material back and forth, and I'm not going to use shuttles. So let's jump into our cruiser, and to do this we have to do it from the map. So this is, I'll be honest with you, this is where I was screwing up all the time, why I wasn't able to make this work. Once you make this happen, you cannot go back into that medical supply because it will break the chain. I could get it to transport water back and forth, but I could not figure out why it kept breaking, because I was jumping back into the medical center to see if it was working. So then when I would jump out, oh, wait, it wasn't working anymore because I kept breaking the chain. So don't jump back into that one that you just used. So what we're going to do here is we're going to click on the map. We're going to choose the med center. We're going to shift, and we're going to tell it to buy goods. Now we're going to look for water. We're going to click water. Now, I do believe there is 18,000 right now, the amount to have on your ship. This will tell you exactly how much you want from the other station. And I'm going to put it at, say, 20,000. Now let's make it 25,000. I got plenty of room on there. We're going to tell it to, so the med ship factory is going to have holding 25,000 water right now. So then we're going to push shift again, and we're going to hit buy, and then we're going to let off, and we're going to hit shift, and we're going to hit loop. So now you see the icon? It's looping right now. So it says until 25,000 units, and then it will loop. So we go back in there, and we should, once we jump back into the med supply. Now, right now I just broke the chain, so it's not going to work. You'll have to go back out and redo it. But I just wanted to show you that now we're at 24,980. Obviously, so it's not picking up water because I'm in the ship, therefore breaking loop. I'll have to go back out and redo it. But there you go. That's the whole transporter, getting it to work from the transporter. So let's jump back to, this is the one way of doing it. That's the transporter. And the other way of doing this is the old version, which is going to be using shuttles. Alright. Alright, we're back into this system. Now, you saw this system. This was the first video I did about making a station and a mine. What we have here, of course, is a coal mine, a scrap metal trader, and I've added a steel factory. So before we just had these two stations, now we have this one as well, which is the steel factory. So this is just another simple factory chain, probably one of the easiest ones to make some a fair amount of money. What we have here is, you'll see all the little shuttles that are moving around. You can see that there they go. They're flying back and forth between station to station, and they're moving materials from this station to the steel factory. What you need in one of these type of, this is entirely up to you. The transporter software is relatively easy if you can get the stations to get in the right distances and all that kind of stuff. It moves material a lot faster than this way. This way is just simple. It takes a little bit of time, and we're going to look at what we need on this ship to make this work. What we need, of course, is a block, a hangar block, and we need cargo shuttles. This one I have 5 cargo shuttles on here. You also need, for this, you'll need 5 pilots to make this work. And what we do is, when we go to the trade goods side here, is to deliver goods to steel factory. So right now, it's moving coal. The 5 cargo shuttles are moving coal from this factory over to the steel. Same way with that one, which is the scrap metal trader. You can see the shuttles going right there. It's moving scrap metal to the steel factory. Now the steel factory, I also have the same thing here. I have a couple shuttles on here, and we are moving steel. We are fetching goods from station to station. So it's fetching goods from scrap metal and coal metal. Now all of these need, to make this work, you all need a captain on each one of these stations to make this work. This one, however, has a few more shuttles. I believe this one has a full 12. You can set it up however you want. If you want to put a bunch of, typically I don't go more than 12. For some reason it doesn't work. If it's grayed out like that, and I think a subscriber was asking about this. If it's grayed out, that means the shuttles are going right back and forth right now. So yeah, that's the difference. If they're not grayed out and you have shuttles still sitting there, you probably have more shuttles than you need. That's a capacity that can handle it, as far as I can tell. So, hangar block, and then you also need the pilot, and you need a captain on each ship to make this work, just to transfer material back and forth. Real simple. Now, since this one is a mine, that one's a mine, how do we get the mine out here? Now, you've probably watched a couple different videos on this, me using force beams, pushing and all that kind of stuff. Well, I've kind of upgraded that to even further here. We're going to use, let's see here, I think this area is hot for copper yet. Coal, gold, and silver. No, aluminum. Aluminum is the one we need. So we're going to make an aluminum line, and we're going to bring it all the way out here into this area. So we need a special ship for this. Well, it's not really special. It's just something that I kind of cooked up here. It's the heavy hauler. Yeah. I paint my construction equipment yellow. We are going to look for that beautiful, big, fat asteroid that was sitting... There he is, right there. We're going to go grab him. So he's 43 kilometers out, and I want to bring him over into this cluster. I don't know why this is such a big deal, why we can't put engines on asteroids and move them, that kind of stuff. They just don't move. To make this work, you're going to have to turn the collision model off, and that's going to be found in the game options. Just simply turn the collision model to none. It's kind of an exploit, but honestly, whoops. No, what did I do that for? So here's another example of Zem making a mistake as he's trying to do this. Of course, right? Of course. He's always making mistakes. We'll get this loaded back up here again, and I'll show you quick what I'm talking about. Single player, we're going to load. Alright, back to where the game was. Don't be like Zem and get in a hurry and hit... I'm always about to laugh, guys. So laugh away. Hope everybody's having a great coronavirus. All right, back to our moving. We are going to move this asteroid out there with the rest of these. We're going to turn this to an aluminum mine just because there's a need for aluminum here. But we're going to move out here with this. Normally you can use force beams. I simply just don't have the time anymore to do that. It's kind of a pain in the butt. So what we're going to do is we're going to roll in here next to our asteroid. And we're going to claim it. And we're going to found it. We're going to transform that for 12 million. I'm trying to think if how to spell aluminum. It's one of those days. Alright. And we are going to jump into that. What we're going to do is going to take this rock. We're going to make it really small. I mean, when we mean really small, really small. We're going to keep doing this. The smaller you can get, the better this works, it seems like. You don't have to do this. You can use, I have a specific, you can turn it into a block, just a block like this. And turn this into a block and then move it, either and or. But I like to kind of keep the whole look for it, so we're just going to do this, because we're going to change this anyway. We're going to make it one more time, I think. There we go. So now we're super small. We're going to jump in here and we're going to grab this. And you can see that I've made it out of webbing, so I can see when I go inside the course collision model off. And we're moving at 1,000 meters a second. So we're going to move this thing at 4,000 meters a second over to where we want it. Once again, more of an exploit, but I don't know why we can't move asteroids simpler than this. Like I said, you can use force beams, but it just takes too long. This moves the asteroid relatively quick. Roughly 7, 6. Yeah, so we're going to back off of that asteroid. We're just going to leave him lay there in space. And we're going to jump into him. And we're going to build him into save designs, ships, stations. It's going to be an easy way to move asteroids instead of having to use force beams. Even force beams take a while because they have a tendency to move all over the place. And we're going to use that simple one. There we go. And we're in position. It's going to spin for a while just because we're at our 5 plus 5 plus 6. Yeah. So we've moved them out into open space. And we just have to hire some crew and we're ready to roll. Alright guys, thanks for watching, and hopefully that answers some of your guys' questions about how to do this using the transporter software, and of course how to use it with shuttles.